Want to look more polished with just a few simple tweaks? I gotcha. You just may be making small everyday mistakes that may be cheapening your look and affecting the way others perceive you. From clothes to hygiene to personal habits, I am sharing 15 things that detract from the classy lady that I know you are. Best of all, they're super easy to fix and in many cases don't cost a dime. Grab your notepad and let's do this. What does and doesn't make one look lowbrow or low budge is of course subjective, but there are certain things that most people will agree make one look, well, cheap. Of course, if you disagree and you love doing one or all of them, ain't nobody's business but yours. Number 1, chipped polish. We've all had polish chip unexpectedly and weren't able to fix it right away. But most people would agree that whether on fingers or toes, chipped polish just looks gross and unkempt. And the darker the polish, the more noticeable it is. It is better to have no polish than chipped polish. If we're going on vacation, especially for an extended period of time, I personally always opt for a very light pink translucent color. That way, if it chips, it's not as noticeable. Number 2, gum chewing, or as my mom would call it, don't look like a cow chewing its cud. That is a definite no-no. It's one of those things that will single-handedly knock you down just a notch from classy to a little rough around the edges. Truth be told, ladies, I love bubble gum. I sometimes chew it when I'm walking the dogs, blowing bubbles and all. I know it's super tacky, so I just do it when people aren't around. Knowledge is power, so just being aware is key. Dirty, worn shoes or bags. I grew up in a military family, so we didn't have the money to buy expensive things. But my parents did raise us to take pride and care of the things that we did have. Whether you spend $100 or $1,000, keep your bags and your shoes pristine. It's not that hard. Have them properly resoled and heel capped when needed. Use a high quality leather conditioner to keep them looking moisturized and nourished. I use Leather Honey at the house for all of my shoes and bags in between an annual maintenance. It is the details that make a difference, and it's not expensive to take care of your things. Conversely, if your heel cap is black, you can hit the easy button and buy them on Amazon. This is a set of 2 for $11 and you can put them on yourself. Number 4, yellow teeth. Teeth are one of the first things that people are going to notice when talking to you, so keeping them looking as good as you possibly can is important. Fortunately, there are a number of effective teeth whitening products on the market. The most popular are Crest White Strips and Luminex teeth whitening strips. You can also have trays made at your dentist for at-home teeth whitening as well. That's a little more expensive, of course, but it's also a little more aggressive, just depending on how yellow your teeth are. Number 5, scaly heels. Heels tend to get especially cracked and scaly, especially in the winter. It's really cringy. The easiest way to stay on top of it is a combination of pedicures and at-home treatments to keep them smooth and supple. I use an electric foot file. This is the one that I've used for years, and it's really awesome. It files away all of the ickies in seconds, and you can easily swap out the file for just a few bucks for a pack of 3. You'll also want to get a good foot cream to moisturize your heels at night. Put on a pair of fluffy socks and let it just soak in all night long. Number 6, inappropriate clothes for the situation. This was me all through my 20s, I'll just be honest. No matter how banging your body, ladies, if you're dressed inappropriately for the situation, you're not gonna look good. Here's a true story that perfectly illustrates this concept. Oliver and I were at Disneyland a few years ago, and it was one of those overly sweltering, hot Southern California days. It was probably 90 to 95 degrees. The woman walking in front of us in Disneyland, mind you, no joke, was wearing a black leather micro mini skirt, a leather bustier, and 4 to 4.5 inch stiletto heels. Even though she had a really cute figure, I don't have to tell you how ridiculous and uncomfortable she looked. That's an extreme, but the point is, dressing appropriately for the situation is always classy. If you look uncomfortable, you will not look cute. Hard stop. Number 7, ill-fitting clothes. Who hasn't been there? In alignment with the above, clothes that don't fit properly, are too small, too big, or just not right for your particular frame or body shape can detract from the classy lady that you are. Knowing your body type and what looks good on you and what doesn't is really key to selecting the right styles for you. I'm going to put links below on a few videos that I did on best styles for each individual body shape, and you can take a look at those. Also, understanding that in most cases, you're going to need to tailor your clothes just a touch in order order to fit you perfectly. Think of clothes as a template. They generally get the right shape, but you're gonna need to tweak them just a little bit in order to get the best fit for you. Number 8, wrinkly clothes. Wrinkled clothes look tacky no matter how expensive they were. I think it's because we tend to associate wrinkled clothes with being slovenly or lazy. You know, I just don't try too hard. You want to keep them hung, nicely stored so that they're ready to go when you want to wear them. And just in case, you're going to want to keep a high quality steamer on hand with you. This particular one by Conair heats up in 40 seconds and gives you a good 15 minutes worth of steam time. And it's under $50. It's a good buy. Number 9, cheap looking accessories. We're not necessarily talking about the price, we are talking about the look. Reams of plasticky beads strung on an elastic wristband, plasticky earrings and rings, jewelry overload. When it comes to accessories, generally speaking, less is more. Choose a few simple, high-quality pieces or a single statement piece as a focal point. During the day, I usually opt for a metal hoop, diamond studs, and depending on what I'm wearing, delicate layered chains and maybe an eternity band. For a night out, I always amp up my accessories, but I like to create a focal point depending on the outfit. To assess if I've gone a little too far, which for me is not uncommon, truth be told, I step back in front of a full-length mirror, and if I find my eye immediately darting around, not quite sure where to look, shoes, bag, jewelry, earrings, I decide which piece I really want to wear that night, and then I start taking them off one by one, step back, and see if my eye immediately goes to that one piece. That's a little trick and a tip. Rainbow eye makeup. In general, and especially during the day, rainbow-colored eyeshadows like bright blues, purples, pinks are going to cheapen your overall look and honestly can really age you as well. Instead, go for beautiful neutral colors that enhance and define your facial features. Caveat, I'm talking really bright colors, not necessarily neutral toned purples like a muted eggplant or a deep navy blue eyeliner, which can be really pretty. Also, if you're in your 20s or you're in a very fashion-forward industry, you probably have a lot more latitude in terms of what you can get away with. That's why you'll see some celebrities on the red carpet in very dramatic makeup, dramatic outfits, and think, oh, that looks really cool. Yes, it looks really cool because that's their industry, it's an artistic industry, and the event, so they can get away with a lot more of that. But as a general rule during the day, you want to keep it neutral and more tasteful. Dirty or scratchy sunglasses. Have you ever been speaking to somebody in the sunlight and you can see that their glasses are all smudged up with like chocolate stains? Such a small detail, but keeping them scratch-free and smudge-free really does make a difference. It doesn't matter if they're $50 or $500. You just want to be sure to store them properly in the case they came in or in the velvety storage bag. To keep them clean, I use the Koala Lens Cleanser. It comes with a microfiber cloth. It's only $9 and it has 2 bottles, 2 microfiber cloths, and it lasts forever. Easy buy. Number 12, those hanger loops on your clothes. You know the ones I'm talking about. If you've ever wondered whether or not you're supposed to cut them off, yes, you're supposed to cut them off. Inevitably, what ends up happening is one or both of them end up hanging out of your clothes and it just makes it look low budge. It doesn't matter how expensive the outfit is. When you get the garment, snip them out immediately. If it's a delicate fabric or you're not comfortable doing it, your tailor will do it as well. We were at a Lakers game last year and the woman sitting in front of us was quite obviously on a first date. She had both hanger loops hanging out and the price tag hanging out on the back. I waited until her date went to the men's room and then I leaned forward and I said, "You look beautiful, but let me get the tag for you and let me tuck these hanger loops in." I also cut out those obnoxiously large garment tags, you know, the ones that have like 4 or 5 different sheets to it. First of all, they're itchy and scratchy, and secondly, you can often see the bulk of them through your clothing. I just gently cut those out, or if I'm taking the garment to my tailor anyway, I have her cut them out for me. If the item is super heavy and you're wondering how to store them without the hanger loops, store it folded. I have a beaded dress that is actually pretty heavy, and so I store it folded. I put tissue in between the beads so that they don't catch on one another and store it. That you should do the same thing with your sweaters. If you store your sweaters on a hanger, what happens? The shoulders start doing this, right? You want to store them neatly folded in a shelf. On a shelf. Also, those cheap, stringy belt loops. I hate those things. They drive me nuts. Other than ensuring that the belt that goes with the dress isn't lost before the sale, there is no viable reason for those cheap, stringy belt loops. And no, you do not loop your belt through those strings. Cut them yourself or have your tailor remove them if the fabric is extra delicate. Also, on the same note, to make an inexpensive dress would look a lot more expensive, toss the belt that it came with and grab a nicer one from your own closet. It'll immediately bump up the look of your dress. Number 14, the wrong undergarments. Who hasn't done this? 3 of the most common undergarment mistakes that I see that are really easy to fix. Number 1, sloppy, visible bra straps. Although we've certainly all had a peeping bra strap or two in our lives, it's just going to happen. Starting with the right bra for the outfit or top that you're wearing will greatly mitigate the chances. Choose a racerback bra for a racerback top, a strapless bra for a strapless dress or off-the-shoulder top. The wrong color undergarments. Most models are told to wear nude undergarments if they're going to a fitting or to a show. Why? Because a nude color is much less likely to show through the garments, even more so than white. Nude colors work especially well for lighter colored fabrics, while darker garments work better for dark fabric. For example, today I'm wearing a black bodysuit. I am wearing a black bra underneath. Now, if I was wearing a nude bra or a white bra, especially with the ring light that I use when I'm filming for you, guess what would happen? You'd be able to see right through it. Finally, lacy underwear. Although lacy underwear are super sexy and pretty on their own, many times you can see them through the fabric of whatever you're wearing, especially if it's a lighter fabric like a silk, a satin, a light wool crepe. And it just ends up looking lumpy and calls attention to the fact that you're wearing lacy underwear. Instead, go for simple, seamless options. I like a lot of them from Hanky Panky or Spanx that are just very light and seamless. Number 15, being covered in lint and pet hair. If you love your pet, you give them a big kiss and a hug, rush out the door only to look down and see that you're covered in pet hair or lint. Now I keep a lint brush by the door, and I also keep one in my car just in case. No one wants to walk around covered in fur and lint. It's a detail that makes a difference. Pilled sweaters. Regardless of how expensive and high of a quality your sweater was, even the best cashmere in the world will eventually pill. Even though we all know it happens, seeing an impeccably dressed woman with a pilled sweater kind of ruins the illusion. Keep your favorite sweaters fresh and pill-free by running a fabric shaver over them every so often. This one is $25 on Amazon, and it removes those annoying pills from your chunky knits in just a matter of minutes. And for more style tips, don't miss my next video. 7 frumpy style mistakes that age us and how to fix them. Happy holidays, ladies. I'll see you in a couple.